Jason recently saw an ad during a football game for yet another sports book that is offering a deposit promotion where he needs to bet just $5 to get 200 back in free bets. Jason has taken advantage of every single promotion he's seen thus far, but has nothing to show for his efforts except a mounting pile of debt. He knows that this time it's going to be different. He fires up the trusty debit card and makes his deposit to yet another casino. Leo. Leo knows that these promotions are just the casino's way of acquiring customers. In the past, he too was guilty of signing up for these sportsbooks and casinos with the hope of striking it rich. But after enough failed attempts, he finally realized that gambling is just a losing game. He quit and he's now coming up on his 1 year clean from gambling addiction. Life is peaceful, and he's never been happier. A recent statistic has sent shockwaves through the world of mental health and addiction studies. According to the National Council on Problem Gambling, you're now 30% more likely to have a gambling addiction in the United States than you were just 3 years ago. Today, we'll explore why this alarming trend is happening, what factors contribute to it, and what can be done to address the growing number of people that are struggling with a gambling addiction. My name is Rob, and I'm a recovering compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and since then, I've made it my personal mission to help you to learn the truth about gambling and to get into recovery for a gambling addiction faster than I did, if you want to quit. Through my own experience, I've learned a lot about the warning signs of a gambling addiction, and I wanted to share them with you. But before I begin, I want to ask you to smash that subscribe button if you want to leave the chaos of gambling behind you, or if you want to become better educated about the risks that gambling poses. To begin, let's dissect this startling statistic. According to the latest research, the rate at which people are developing a gambling addiction has risen by a staggering 30% over the last 3 years. But why is this happening? What's driving the surge in gambling-related problems? One really significant factor contributing to the increase in gambling addiction is the widespread availability of gambling platforms, both online and offline. Technology has made it easier than ever for people to access gambling opportunities from the comfort of their own homes, making it even more challenging to resist the temptation of trying to win big. We all essentially have a supercomputer that's sitting in our pockets, and we can access huge lines of credit faster than ever before as well. It's the perfect storm for an increase in the amounts people are gambling and the rate at which they're playing. And, of course, the rate at which they're going broke. Jason started gambling when he was 18 years old with daily fantasy sports. He figured that the more he knew about sports, the more money he could make gambling on them. He was able to sign up for the app on his birthday, and within hours he was hooked. He would gamble every single day for the next 6 years, and he has no intention of stopping anytime soon. Leo went through the exact same pattern, but after a few years of living through the same repetitive cycle, he decided that he finally had had enough. Now, instead of wasting his days staring at the casino app on his phone, Leo has started his own business, and he's channeling his competitive nature into finding success in that. The aggressive marketing and advertising strategies that are employed by gambling companies have also played a pivotal role. From enticing promotions to celebrity endorsements, these tactics often glamorize gambling and make it more appealing to a wider audience base. Additionally, they also target a very young audience, who are statistically more susceptible to developing a gambling addiction than an older audience would be. Good luck watching any sporting event without having a sports book shoved down your throat. Now that's not even getting us started on slot streamers and YouTubers. Everywhere that you look online, someone is showing you a big gambling win, and they're showing you the dream come true. What they also tell you to do is sign up for the casino using their code, because that's how they get paid a percentage of your losses. Or they tell you to smash the subscribe button so that they can sustain their gambling with ad revenue they get from you watching them. They are misleading you into thinking that their money is coming from gambling wins, when in reality, they're running a business and they're selling you the dream of gambling. Jason loves to watch his favorite streamers win big on the slots like Sweet Bonanza and Fruit Party. He's convinced that he's due for a big win and tries to emulate his favorite streamers' betting patterns and games of choice. Leo knows that casinos make money because gambling is a losing game. No matter what he sees pop up on his recommended feed on YouTube or his For You page on TikTok, Leo knows that people who make content about gambling are just trying to sell him something. Leo knows it's actually a nightmare and not a dream. Social and peer pressure can't be overlooked either. Many people are introduced to gambling through friends and family, making it seem like a harmless, socially acceptable pastime. This can lead to experimentation, which, in some cases, like my own, turns into a full-blown addiction. It doesn't feel good to be different than our peers or our family. In my case, until I started going to support group meetings, I actually thought that I was the only gambling addict in the world because nobody around me struggled with it like I did. I grew up around it, even having times when we would drive to Atlantic City for dinners. Now, most people don't get addicted to gambling, so of course I can't blame my family and friends for wanting to go there. But it goes to show that anyone can become addicted, and it can start innocently enough. Jason and his friends are always talking about the bets that they have on. It's actually all that they talk about. They don't do much but talk about sports and the results of their wagers. So, even though there are a few times where Jason feels like he actually might want to consider quitting gambling, he feels like it would isolate him from those around him, and he'd have nothing to offer the group. Leo and his friends talk about everything. He asks them about work, and they discuss different business ideas that they have. Leo used to only talk about gambling with his friends as well, and he had the same thoughts that Jason had. But he realized that once he was honest with his friends, it turned out that they actually felt the same way. All of them were continuing to gamble and talk about it to fit in with one another, despite not really enjoying it all the time. Gambling addiction is rooted in the brain's reward system, where winning triggers a release of dopamine, creating a pleasurable sensation. As people continue to gamble, they often find themselves chasing that initial high that they felt, which ultimately leads to the spiral of addiction. Now, to understand if you or someone you know may be grappling with a gambling addiction, it's crucial to be aware of the red flags. Some of these signs include chasing losses, constantly gambling to try to recover what you've lost, a preoccupation with gambling, thinking about gambling all day long, lying about gambling, concealing the extent of gambling from loved ones, neglecting responsibilities, failing to meet obligations due to your gambling, and financial troubles, consistently facing financial problems due to your urge to continue to gamble. The consequences of gambling addiction can be severe and far-reaching. It can lead to a breakdown of personal relationships, financial ruin, or even legal troubles. Recognizing these consequences is crucial to addressing the issue. With more people gambling now than ever before in our history, naturally, we're going to see an increase in the total number of people that are developing a gambling problem. So we need to be seeing an increase in the amount of people getting the help that they need. Now, if you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling addiction, help is available. There are numerous resources and support systems in place to provide assistance. It's vital to reach out and take that first step towards recovery. Jason says that he'll quit gambling when he gets the big win and gets his money back. This is really just an excuse that he tells himself because he's too scared of admitting that he needs help to stop gambling. Leo knows that the best road to recovery is to find a group to confide in. Over the last year, he has been feeling better each day and continuing to stay gamble-free with the help of his support group. Without that group, he feels like he still may be out there making bets and wasting away his time. The fact that you're now 30% more likely to have a gambling addiction than you were 3 years ago is a stark reminder of the urgency to address this issue. The combination of technological advances, aggressive marketing, and the psychological allure of gambling makes it essential for people, communities, and governments to take action. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, and there is hope for recovery. Gambling should be a form of entertainment, not a path to financial ruin and emotional distress. So, if you're treating it anything like I was, it's time to leave the ways of Jason behind and start to try to be more like Leo. All of that happens one day at a time.